It was Halloween on the island of Sodor. The engines were telling scary ghost stories. All that is, except for Henry 76624 and 98462. The two spiteful engines had to take a late freight train. I hope you don't fall victim to Timothy, sniggered Winston. Who is Timothy? Asked Thomas. I'm surprised you don't know who Timothy is, Thomas. Your brother? Thomas gulped. Edward laughed. Do you think they're ready to hear it? He chuckled. I think so, said Winston, trying to contain his laughter. Pwah! You silly engines won't be able to scare me. Well, since you're the scariest thing we've ever seen, and you're running on this railway, I think we should be immune to this scary story. And this was the story Winston told them. This took place around when Edward and Thomas first arrived. Once upon a time, there lived a little engine named Timothy. He was loaned from the London-Brighton South Coast Railway. He was a cheerful engine, and he was painted white and numbered 0. He mainly worked on passenger trains, along with Edward. But despite the fact that he was kind, he was also an experiment alongside Thomas, but he was the first experiment. This also made him rather unhinged. He was prone to having temper tantrums. Whenever he didn't get his way, he would take his anger out on the loads that he pulled. His volatile temper surprised the other engines. Well, all except for Winston. I've seen this before, he said. He'll grow out of it soon. I mean, he's a wise engine. Maybe his temper will pass. I'm sorry to say it didn't pass. It definitely did not pass. One fateful day, Sir Topham had asked him to collect some tankers. He didn't want to, so he banged straight into them. One of them were fuel tankers, and he sat them flying right into the buffers. It was an awful sight. It was kind of implied that he did this way because of the abuse of the controller. I would hear him yell at Timothy and say, "If you screw up one more time, I'm gonna sell you for scrap." Until one fateful night when he allegedly said that he wanted to make up for his awful behavior, which was most out of the ordinary. As usual, he came to the station, whistled, "Get in quickly, please." The people got in, the guard blew his whistle, and then he left. It was very peaceful. You couldn't hear the clatter of any other engine but Timothy. The wheels of the coaches were just rattling. The passengers were quiet. The owl was hooting. The sky was clear. There wasn't a single cloud in the sky. Until there was an old bridge that all engines had to be careful on. In the distance. "All right, Timothy," said the driver. "You have to slow down now." But Timothy didn't reply. His wheels just started to spin faster and faster and faster. The heavy coaches were beginning to push him along. "Timothy, what do you think you're doing?" said the driver. Until Timothy responded, "I can't stop," he said aggravatedly. The viaduct was coming nearer and nearer. The coaches were rattling in fear, until the driver said, "Timothy, this is your last chance. Stop, now, before it's too late." But Timothy didn't respond. His wheels just kept spinning, until the driver lost patience. "That's it, Timothy, we tried." He reached out and told the guard to apply the brakes on the coaches. The coupling broke and the coaches rounded to a halt. As for Timothy, well, he wasn't so lucky. Timothy's driver, fireman, and all of the passengers and the guards were safe, but Timothy wasn't. His face was subsequently crushed by a stone pillar. It's a shame. The The day afterwards, his remains were sold for scrap to be reused on other engines. The reasons why he did it is forever unknown. Some say it was because he was an experiment, making him not right in the head. Others would say it's because of the controller. His abusive ways twisted his mind. Everyone else says it's because, well, it was a real accident. While the rest says that Timothy was a very intelligent engine, and he wouldn't let an accident happen like that. So maybe it was on purpose. We'll never know. Whenever engines would come to the same bridge where his death took place, they'd say that they swore they saw a white tank engine guarding the bridge, making sure the engine would slow down. Some would say maybe it's just a vision, a star, or just the wind. I think it's just pure ignorance that they would think that. And so that's what happened. Winston finished. The engines were gobsmacked, but none of them were paler than Thomas. So, what you're telling me is that my brother's really dead? He said. He looked like he was about to cry. Edward sympathized. Of course not. Your brother died tragically trying to help another engine. A bunch of fuel tankers ran into him, so he's dead now. Or is he? What? Whoa! Help me! Help me! Thomas! You gotta wait until you best friend each other. Oh wait, we can't! Run! Guys, I'm not a ghost. Edward and Winston just found me creepy at first, but then we warmed up to each other and became friends. That's it, and I let them tell the spooky story about me. I'm fine. Wait, so you're not dead? Asked Thomas. Oh, Thomas, as long as you keep me in your heart, I will always be alive. Always. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go pull a passenger train tonight. I hope nothing bad goes wrong. The engines didn't know whether they saw a ghost or a vision, or if it was the real character, but they thought it would just be best just to leave it alone.